Hello, welcome to Three Crows Runes. My name is Jen. Let's do some rune readings. Today we are doing sevens. Why? Because congratulations and thank you everybody for 700 subscribers, which we've finally gone over. It was really funny because the past few weeks we were seeing, I would see 700 and then it would go under. And it would go under just before I was going to do the videos. I'm like, all right, I'm going to wait until it goes up a bit. But I'm still grateful. I was grateful from the moment it first hit 700, and I'm grateful now, and I've always been grateful for all of you, and I couldn't have done it without you. So thank you. So hooray. So in honor of that, we are doing sevens today. So we have all the sevens from the Steampunk Tarot. We have the Chariot. We have the Seven of Pentacles, the Seven of Swords, the Seven of Wands, and the Seven of Cups. So feel into these cards. One or more of these will have a reading for you. Today, it will be a reading that will be relevant, hopefully. It's the reading you need to see. So one of these will have a message that you need to see about pertaining to what the card pertains to, and all of them have to do with sevens today. I will be using the Bone Runes, Elder Futhark on Bone. I will put the timestamps in the description, and I will see you at the readings. Bye! Hello to those of you who chose the Chariot. So let's move the Chariot over here. Chariot has to do with triumph of will in difficult circumstances, basically. So things may be very difficult, but you are able to stand up and wrangle what's going on and basically stay in relative control. I also forgot to mention that it is the 7th. The day that I am filming this is the 7th. So it's a lot of sevens today. It's very cool. So let's get some runes down to clarify what your reading is for this 7 reading, which is you chose the Chariot. So let's see what message needs to come through for those of you who chose the Chariot. Ooh, yeah, because a lot. So I'm going to lay down the whole reading, and then I'm going to go from there. So we're doing a half rack, which is my funny name for about half the Elder Futhark, which is a Sarimnir reference for those who enjoy that sort of thing. Because we can serve this up as many times as we like. One more. Right, good, okay. So, your central issue, those of you who chose the Chariot, we have Dagas. Dagas is the rune of the breaking of the day. This has to do with, well, obviously full illumination, but what I'm seeing this as is just basically dealing with overwhelm, as well as just like everything all at once happening. Yeah, it's a lot, and it's all coming at you at once. And so this is why you're in this situation where you've got, your hands on the reins, but you're making it look easy, but it's a lot that you're wrangling, but you're doing well, or you're trying to. Leading up to this, we have Manas reversed. Manas is the rune of humanity, and your part in it. This is reversed on the path line leading up. So it says to me that you've basically decided to take things into your own hands, basically, at this point. You've been dealing with, maybe you've been dealing with disappointment with the other people, with the other humans, and just basically like, okay, this needs to be done. I know what needs to be done. I'm going to do it. So you have gently closed the door on that din, and you've turned to handling things yourself. And it is a lot, but you're on top of it. What is going to help you is maintaining that calm stillness in the center of the storm kind of thing. So we have Isa, which is the rune of ice. Ice is standstill and stillness, and it's the stillness through which clarity comes, especially when it's in the upper line like this. So you are definitely being the calm in the midst of the storm, and that is how you are managing to exert your will in such a good way on the forces of chaos that that seem to be surrounding you. I do see chaos in this reading. It's in the lower line. I'll get to it. So, and sometimes I'll say things like that. And I was like, well, I don't see, but I do. It's right there. But yeah, it's a situation where things you sort of lost. Not faith and trust so much, but you're just like, all right, you're disappointed to the point where it's like, I know what needs to be done and I'm going to do it. So what helps you is staying still and being the calm in the storm. And that is actually how you're able to maintain the control over these these opposing forces that are ramping around. What isn't going to help you is we have Uruz reversed. Uruz is the rune of the wild ox. This has to do with strength and health and stubbornness and resistance. It's reversed in the lower line. So there is a sense of there being a temptation to not stand up for yourself in this, like to just like basically let, say, oh, well, people, they have things on their plate and they don't, everybody's doing their best and blah, 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 all that. And that's, that's polite and that's gracious and that's fine. But when something needs to be done, and this seems to be something that really needs to be done from your standpoint, and it really matters to you. So this is why you're taking this over. But I mean, there is that sense of, like societal urge to the societal, pressure to no, let people do things in their own time and let people take care of the things. And they said they would do it. So let them just like, no, you know what? You've waited long enough. And it's in that this is resistance when it's upright, it's reversed. And it's just basically letting everybody who is disappointing you do that and walk all over you for that. It's like, oh, well, they haven't minded yet, so they never will. And so I maybe won't do the thing. It's like, all right, but this is, we need to do it. So, not like allowing this to go on, you're being pressured to do that, and you're being pressured to you're being tempted to just let it continue because that's people. But no, because you need this. You need to be doing this. So this is why you've taken it over. It's like, it's a lot, but it's like, I'm doing this thing. And so, again, if that starts to be the case, bring yourself back up to, I am doing this and I'm doing it calmly. I'm actually able to stand up and have that overview so that I can have my hand on the reins and keep this in line. And it's working really well. Your next step is on the path line, we have answers reversed. This is pinning the entire reading. This is the center rune of the entire reading, and this is inner communication. It's also listening and just basically being aware. It's like that, being aware of the subtle changes in the things that you're keeping the reins on. So it's kind of like flying a kite, where, I don't know if you've flown kites, but where you're sensing what it's doing. Or I suppose, anything where you're actually with your hand on some sort of rein. If you're, walking a dog or riding a horse or something, where you're sensing the subtleties just from the pull on the rein. Maybe fishing too, but I haven't fished, really. I mean, you can't call what I've done fishing, unless it's like video game fishing, but that doesn't count, really. So it's that kind of thing. So you are really both turning inward and having that inner communication with self, which is what's happened with when you're very, very still, the clarity comes through. So whatever that's coming through from, whether it's higher self or deity or source or the universe, but it's just basically the clarity coming through. It could just be like from the part of your mind that gets drowned out by the din, which you've left. So allowing that, and that's what's letting you be calm in the face of this. But now the next step on, you're maintaining that. You're maintaining that inner communication with wherever the clarity is coming through for, and you are listening in terms of just deeply listening to the signals you're getting through the reins, basically, and you're being paying close attention to that. Following up from the Isa, what's going to help you at this step is we have Othala. Othala is the rune of the home and the homeland. This has to do with like security and sanctuary and comfort, like comfort zone. And so it's just basically staying in that place, staying in that sweet spot where you're standing there and you have exactly the overview you need, and you're actually getting the exact messages that you need at exactly the frequency you need through your hand from what you're controlling. And so it's just that comfort zone of, staying in that overview spot and able to basically be able to express your will and exert your will to a certain extent, but in such a subtle way that you remain calm, and that these are able to just sort of think that this is their own thoughts making them do the things. But in order to do that, you need to be also very calm and comfortable and in that state of feeling like you're at home with what you're doing. And that's going to help you a lot to maintain that inner communication and to maintain that focus. What isn't going to help you is we have Hagalaz, which is the rune of the hailstorm. This does have to do with chaos and things that are out of your control. So again, leading from, first of all, why you abandoned your hope in the other people doing the thing, but just this sense of, this is... It's like in Warner Brothers, where one of the cartoon characters will walk off a cliff and won't realize that he's off the cliff until he looks down, and then he won't fall until then. So it's that kind of thing where if you think about how impossible it is what you're doing, and how out of control this is, and how chaotic this is, and how wild like storms this is, then that's where things are going to fly out of control, because you will lose your focus that you have now, which is the overview. Don't sink into the storm, be above the storm, and which is what you're doing. You're sort of finding home in this space of stillness above the storm, in this space of calm, and that's helping you maintain that inner communication, and that's that tight focus on the messages you're getting from what you're controlling, and what you're controlling, well, just sort of like nudging and influencing. Your next step on the pathline, we have Ivaz, which is the rune of the yew tree. This has to do with patience, slow growth, slow development, taking things step by step, moving between worlds and integration. So this is basically, it's sort of continuing from this, because it looks a little like this, but it's like continuing it on. And you're being patient with what you're doing, and you're being you're being very focused in the moment, and you're taking things step by step. And in that, these are opposites that you're maintaining the balance of. There is that sense of moving between them, even though you are generally influencing both and sort of equally influencing both. In order to do that, there is going to be a bit of yin-yang give and take kind of thing. So sometimes you'll be leaning a little on the yin, sometimes you'll be leaning a little bit on the yang, and you're sort of integrating them, but you have to integrate them by balance, because they can't actually integrate. They are two opposing forces. What is going to help you with that is we have Thurizaz. You've been doing this for a little while now, at least 2 steps, and this is basically to the point where, because you've become comfortable with it, now you can even go further with it. And in order to do that, you have to cross a certain threshold. It is basically saying, acknowledge the threshold and cross it, because this is what's going to help you with this. You're getting really good at it, and it's going to get to the point where you don't want to become like mesmerized by it and like where you're not remembering what you're doing. It's like, like if you're walking a certain way. Oh no, a funnier one would be if you're singing a song, and like if you sung the song 1,000,000 times, and then you're on stage singing the song, and you just kind of go away while your brain and mouth do the song, and then you come back and you're like, what did I sing? Because I was thinking about laundry. And so, but everybody ends up thinking that, well, okay, you sang the song, but you don't want it to become like that, where you're thinking about other things while you're doing this, because you need to be keeping this focus, because otherwise everything is going to go crazy. So it's definitely important at this stage to not let it sink into where you're not even there anymore while you're doing it. This is always going to have to take focus, because these are always going to want to split off and do what they want to do. So as long as you are maintaining that, back and forth focus intensely, then this is going to be okay. And the only way to do that is to make it just take that extra step into slightly more challenging territory. Maybe get them to go faster, or maybe to get them to even bring in a third thing. What isn't going to help you is we have Fehu reversed. Fehu is the rune of wealth and worth. There's a questioning of like, what worth is this that I'm doing this? You start to wonder, it's like, and this ties into where it's become something that is automatic, and you're not thinking about it, and you're sort of going away while you're doing it. And if that starts to be the case, in terms of that, you may feel like, what worth is this? I've been doing this, and yeah, it's working, but, now I'm just bored with it. So this is why we want to up it. So once this starts to be the case, and this also speaks to Fehu reversed. Fehu's the rune of wealth and worth, reversed its inner. So sometimes it's like overconfidence, and that's where you start to lose the focus, because you start to think about shopping lists. So bring yourself back up to where you're going to make it just that extra little bit challenging to keep yourself focused. Don't do it on purpose to make your life worse. But if there's something that's been neglected while you've been doing this, this is the time maybe to bring that in and try to integrate accelerate it. So like not unnecessarily to bring more challenge in, but it's like, okay, I've got this under control. Now I can finally be doing this again, kind of thing. Like now that I've got this good. And then it's like bringing the third ball into the juggle. What your outcome is for this is Nauthiz. Nauthiz is the rune of need, and this has to do with tending to your needs. So being aware, and this is why you're starting to bring in the things that need to be taken care of while you're doing this. But now that you're comfortable doing this, you need to keep that focus, but also to bring in the other things that have been neglected while you've been working on this. So this is where you're looking at what needs to be done and bringing that in. And I'm sure you'll be able to do it because you've gotten really good at this. So just be patient with yourself and the process. So that, those of you who chose the Chariot, is your reading for sevens. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello to those of you who chose the Seven of Pentacles. Let me move this over here. This is appraising the results of your efforts. So you're looking over what you've accomplished already, and you're basically appraising it. You're looking at it, you're like, okay, this one went well. This one, maybe I could have done this and I will next time. This one, just basically looking at what you've done and seeing what could improve and seeing where you've done well and just basically looking over that. So in light of that, let's get some runes down and clarify this message. I'm going to lay out the entire reading and then go from there. I also noticed that not only is this celebrating 700 subscribers, and not only are we doing readings with sevens, it is literally the 7th of June today, when I'm filming this. Of course, these videos are for these messages are for whenever you find this video, but I just thought it was cool, this confluence of sevens. So let's get some runes down on this. Very nice. Pause. Let's do that. And there's your work. So I'm doing a half rack reading. This is my fun name for about half the Futhark, which is a Sarimnir reference if you like that sort of thing. How are you? It's getting warm where we are. I'm in the northern hemisphere. It's June, the month of Juno, and yeah, it's starting to get really warm. Alrighty. Your central issue, those of you who chose the Seven of Pentacles, is Isa. Isa is the rune of ice. This has to do with standstill and stillness, but it's the stillness through which clarity comes. So it's basically your time to stop and basically pause, sort of freeze for a moment, but not freeze, because you're basically being still so the clarity can come through. And this is what you're doing. You're basically, let's pause what we're doing moving forward and look at what we've got and look at what we have to show for what we've been doing and just review it and really honestly have a look at it. It's like the review before editing kind of thing, but you're not editing because you did these, they're done. So you're basically appraising them and you're having a look. And, what you're seeing is what's going to help you learn so you can move forward and continue. And you will continue your journey, and it's really going to be very neat. Your rune that is leading up to that is Tivaz, which is the rune of Tyr. Tyr is the warrior god, but he's also, the Sky King. It has to do with balance, and he has to do with taking care of duties and responsibilities, things that need to be taken care of. So that's basically what you've been doing, and that's what you are appraising at this point, what you have to show for what you've done. What is going to help you? We have Laguz, which is the rune of the water, and this has to do with emotion, intuition, heart, and flow. So you are letting yourself do this on a number of levels. First of all, you're being very honest with this. You are looking at this from a heart's perspective, not just in terms of attachment where I made this so it can be no wrong. It's going to be like, okay, if I'm honest with myself, although I love the things, and the love is going to be extremely important because you're looking at these these are things you love. These are the things you created with love. And so you will love them, but right now you're looking at them and learning from them. So there is that sense. Look for where you get emotional messages from what you're appraising, because that's what's going to tell you It's like Diana Wynne Jones talking about editing your writing. It's like, well, if you look at it and you read a bit and you get a little squirmy feeling inside, and it's like, that's the bit you got to fix, that kind of thing. So you're looking over this, you're letting your emotions speak to you about it. You're also looking at it with the intellect of the heart, letting your thinking heart look at these things. You are maintaining the love for these things that you have inherently because you created them. There is a sense of intuition as well. It's almost like you're letting them speak to you, the things that you're appraising at this point. And finally, you're just basically letting it happen very organically and very in a very yin way in a lot of senses, where you're sort of letting your perception pour like water over this and letting what needs to come out and communicate to you show through, if that makes sense. What isn't going to help you is being overconfident about this. We have Fehu reversed. Fehu has to do with wealth and worth, and reversed it's inner, so it's confidence. It's in the lower line. This is not going to help you. As I said, if you think if it came through you, then it can do no wrong. If this is something that you're meaning for other people's consumption, then you just, you have what you created, and that's cool, and you can always love it. It's the thing you created. But if you are meaning any of this for external consumption, you definitely need to be wanting to edit it. So you can always save a copy of the thing that you did as it emerged into the world. However, this is why you're appraising it. This is why you're looking at things. And maybe some of these things you can edit, but most of these you're just basically going to learn from so that you can move forward. And you will always love them, but it doesn't help at this point to be too confident and say every single thing of these came out of me pure from the source, which is true. And are perfect and there's nothing wrong with any of them, and I can just put them out into the world. Well, you know what else? No, I'm not gonna say that because it's gross. Yes, I am. So you could say the same of poop. So I mean, this is, maybe we don't love the poop, but it's basically that kind of thing. You can be overconfident, and that might drag down what your efforts are. You need to be honest. You need to be heart level honest with yourself about these things. So bring yourself back up. It's like, yes, wonderful. It's a miracle. You brought something into the world that wasn't here before, and that's definitely worthy of celebration and love. If you are then, though, and I keep saying for external consumption because this is here. This is why I keep saying this. So we'll get to that in a step. But so anyway, if you are looking at this in the spirit of, I want to create this kind of thing for other humans, this is when you have to bring yourself back up to where Laguz is and just start by letting it come through naturally and in a yin kind of way. Because maybe if you're looking at it directly and in a more yang way, then you're not going to let those things bubble through. You're going to be like, okay, this one's perfect, this one's perfect, this one's perfect. Okay, but no, it's because you're going to see things coming through that you wouldn't have seen if you were just telling it was perfect. Just sit back and let the things bubble through. What your next step is, we have Manas, which is the rune of humanity, and your part in it. This is your note in the song. And if this is something that you're producing for, the world to enjoy and be nourished by, you're going to need to learn from what you've done. And so your focus here, which is why I was saying, is for external consumption, where you want this to be something that, it is your note in the song already, and what you're bringing into the universe vibrationally is excellent and perfect. However, if this is something that you're going to bring through as something for other people, then this is going to be your focus. This needs to be your focus, and this is where you're going to bring yourself after this step. Okay, now I know what this said to me, and then I'm going to be in a situation where I was like, okay, now let's make something based on what I've already learned that is for people, for other humans. What is going to help you is that you are going to see fruits of your labors almost immediately from what you've learned from this, and maybe even some of these were ready already. But even so, even if you just learned from this and it's based on what I've learned, here's a new thing, and it's got everything I learned in it, and now it's ready. Almost immediately, we have the harvest rune, which is helping. So this is the rune of the harvest and also time. You can really give it, I'm really sort of it's like time in that this is the time now. Now is the time that you can bring this through, like especially because you've learned now. And it's like bringing things through immediately. And that's going to help you so much because it's like, now I'm going to do this. I've learned what I've learned and I'm bringing this through. And like, I know this is good. I know this is nourishing and abundance and good. And it's going to be good for people. People are going to be nourished. What isn't going to help you is we have Ingvaz, which is Ing's rune. Ing is another name for Frey, and Frey is the fertility god. I'm going to read this a couple ways. First of all, okay, so this isn't going to help you because you're forcing things. It's the same as what we were talking about here. If you're taking, everything that I have made is absolutely perfect and already ready for human consumption, and you're really, really overconfident with that, that's going to lead you to telling yourself that everything you make is perfect and perfect for human consumption. Like, you're sort of forcing it at this point, but that's sort of the thing. It's like if you're like forcing that out and like ignoring the fact of what you've learned when you were doing the appraisal. The other thing this is, how do I put this? Don't turn it into a factory. Like, this is something that is made from your love and your heart and your joy of bringing things through. It's a miracle. So don't turn it into a factory for you. I think it's going to be very important for you to maintain that sense of, first of all, the sense of like, this is like a byproduct of my existence. Like, this is something that by just living is going to come through me, but also it's something that I love deeply. And that always has to be there because that's part of what makes it nourishing. So that's what isn't going to help you. Bring yourself back up to where you are lovingly bringing through your harvest based on what you have learned from your caring appraisal. Your next step on the path line, we have Raido. Raido's the rune of the journey. This is you unpausing your journey because you paused to do the appraisal. And then you paused while you created some more stuff. It wasn't really a pause when you were creating more stuff, but you were creating stuff based on what you've learned. Now that you know you can do it, which happened almost immediately, you sort of you turn the record player back on, put the needle back in the groove, or maybe the needle was in the groove and then just turn it back on and it goes back into music. This is you moving forward again. What is going to help you is that this is a new you. We have Barkana, which is the rune of the birch tree. This is beginnings and birth. So this is like a brand new regenerated, brand new version of you that is being birthed into the world. And this may also even be not even a rebirth. This is the me that makes these and brings this out into the world. So that's really exciting, and that's going to help you. It's just like, here you are emerging. What isn't going to help is we have Thurisaz, which is the rune of the harvest. Not the harvest, that's the harvest. I was looking at the harvest and it fell out of my mouth. So Thurisaz is the rune of the challenge. It's the thorn, the giant, the gateway. It is a challenge. It's something you've never done before in this open way. So this is something, it's a bit daunting. It may cause you to fall back on these not helpful things, like being overconfident and trying to force things and just maybe even just turning off and turning it into a factory. That's not going to help you. Don't do that. Keep your heart in it. And it is going to be a challenge, but it's like, this is the open door and this is the baby coming out of it. So to speak marginally metaphorically. So this is basically the thing. It's like, it's a new birth. You're rebirthing yourself into the world with this. This is something that you are birthing into the world, even if it's just a thing that you're birthing. So this is what's going to help. What your next step is on the path line and the outcome of this entire reading. Oh, this is your whole focus of the reading is the fact that you're doing this for the world, for the human world. Anyway, outcome of the whole reading, we have Uruz reversed. Uruz is the rune of the wild ox. This has to do with strength and health and resistance when it's upright. When it's reversed, it's inner strength, resilience, and not resisting. You are basically not resisting this path forward. This is what you are allowing to continue. Maybe this is here because you've had situations in the past where you've gotten to a certain point in your path to success, whatever success is for you, and just slammed on the brakes. And this is saying the best thing at this point, because you've done the work now. You've really done the work, not only to create the thing, but to appraise it and then create it even better, which is what you're doing here. And it's like, now it's ready. You start up that record player again, and you start to move forward on this journey again. And the point where you normally would slam on the brakes, you're lifting up, and you're lifting up your hooves, and you're not digging in, and you're letting things continue in that way, trusting your inner strength and trusting your resilience and trusting that what you are doing is strong inherently. which is very exciting. So I wish I wish you all the best with this. That is your reading for sevens on the 7th day of Juno to celebrate 700 subscribers. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello to those of you who chose the 7 of Swords. So let's move the 7 of Swords over here. The thing about the 7 of Swords is, I'm going to read this a couple ways, but I'm going to preliminarily read this a couple of ways, and then I'm going to see what the runes tell me about it. So the 7 of Swords is basically someone has taken something. This is basically, a lot of people think of this as the thief card, which it kind of is. Maybe someone has, stolen something, but it may also be you making off with what you needed to make off with that belonged to you, and in such a way that you felt like a thief. So let's get some runes down and clarify, because then we'll know which one it is. Okay. Right away, wealth and worth is the focus. And this is Fehu. It's cattle, so it's not necessarily money, but it's worth. It's wealth in terms of it. The thing about cattle is it's the wealth that you tend. So it's whatever it is that whenever you take care of it will give your life meaning and worth and richness. So that's your whole focus in your central issue. And I think that's what you're really paying attention to. Right. Half-rack rune reading. Oh, did I mention? I also remembered that it's the 7th day of the month. It's the 7th day of Juno. It's not the 7th day of Julius, which would be July, which would have been even funnier. But it's the 7th. It's the 7th, so it's like we're celebrating 700 subscribers. We're doing 7 cards. We're doing 5 7 cards, but we're doing the 7 cards, and and it's on the 7th day of the month, so it's like all the 7s. So your central issue, for those of you who chose the 7 of Swords, we have Fehu, which is the rune of wealth and worth. That's really your focus. It's what gives your life worth and richness. Leading up to this, and it's the wealth that you tend as well. So it's the things that you take care of, that as long as you take care of them, make your life rich. But in terms of this, let's just continue, and I'll see if I need to throw down some more. But in terms of this, I'm just wondering why this is, whether this is you or whether this is you worrying about this, because it could be a worry as well. Leading up to this, there was a great abundance. We've had the harvest, a completion. Something has happened. It's the harvest and also time. So it's Yira. So there's been a great completion and a great harvest and a great abundance. And so that's there. And now you have that wealth, and maybe you're just worried that it's going to be taken, and maybe you are just wanting to take that with you, and you feel as though you're stealing it by doing so, but it's I think it's yours. So what's going to help you is we have Ingvaz. Ingvaz is the rune of Ing. Ing is another name of Frey, and Frey is the fertility god. So this has to do with active creation. So what's going to help you is, as you're focusing on this, to use what you have to control what you can, and to shape what you can around you, which is going to lead you to a sense where you're not going to feel like you need to fight anymore or be combative, and that you are really focusing on your own, on duties and responsibilities to yourself. So I think this might be you worrying about this. Suddenly you have this abundance, and you're worried that someone's going to take it, and so you are clinging to it very, very hard. And I think what needs to happen, that the runes are saying, is shape around you what you need in order to feel like, to create around you what you need to feel so that you can put your sword down. So you won't feel like you have to fight everybody off. So you don't feel like you have to hug sharp blades to you to not let them go. And by which you are then taking care of yourself. This is then self-care. So do what you need to do to feel secure with this, because we all come from some sort of trauma. And in this case, it's a matter of, like, I have this good thing. Unfortunately, this may make me feel like somebody's going to take it. And I recognize this here as well. So let's talk about that. What isn't going to help you is, now that you have this good thing, this abundance, you're feeling like this is the hard part, because now I have to protect this, and I can't let it go because somebody will take it. We have Thurzaz, which is the rune of the thorn, the giant, the gateway. It's the challenge, and it's reversed, so it's like an impossible challenge. This is something like a trauma response where you've like had this, every time you have something good, you just panic because you think somebody's going to take it, and it's the thorns, so it's like it's hurting you to do this, and what's behind all of that is this worry about unhappiness. And I'm going to actually read that the way that I often read Vunyo in the lower line, even though Vunyo in the lower line, even upright, is that. But reversed is like the loss of happiness in the lower line. So I'm just sort of seeing this as like you're worried about being happy because happiness can be taken away. And it's terrible, and it can be like this impossible challenge that you have to deal with, and it's going to make you crazy, and it's going to make you miserable, and it hurts you. So what is going to happen? Bring yourself back up. Do what you need to do. Don't feel embarrassed about it. If you have to go and build like a little cage for your swords, that just do it. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself, to make yourself feel comfortable with what you have, and so that you can feel like, okay, I'm going to be okay. I can put my combativeness down. I don't have to fight about this because I've done what I needed to do to protect this. So I'm so sorry, but it's difficult. It's so difficult. It's just, but just do what you need to do for yourself. Everybody has their, happiness, and you need to, like, if you have your happiness, it shouldn't be something people are going to take from you. People think they have to take happiness from other people. That's awful. Everybody needs to work on their own. And so if that's a situation that you've had to deal with, I'm really sorry. And it's just like, yeah, because it's not like that. You can be happy, other people can be happy, and it doesn't take from each other's happiness. And so, exactly. Your next rune on the path line, we have Ayvaz, which is the rune of the yew tree. This has to do with patience, slow growth, slow development, taking things step by step, moving between worlds and integration of those worlds. And I think I know that's the center rune of the entire reading. That's what pinning the entire reading. So this is going to be your big focus about this. First step, of course, you have the wealth in hand. Do what you need to do to make yourself feel safe with that wealth. Like, do what you need to do so that you can feel secure. Then it's that step of being patient, of being, taking it step by step, moving between whatever worlds are involved with your how do I put this? With your stress about this, and just try to integrate, take it step by step, though. Be patient with yourself and the process. What is going to help you? We have Raido reversed. Raido is the rune of the journey. Reversed, I'm going to read this a couple ways. Maybe there is forward momentum that you wanted to do that you need to sort of arrest a bit. So it's sort of turning the journey, like pausing the journey while you're taking these slow steps. You're still moving forward. You're definitely still moving forward, but you're not galloping forward because you need the time to integrate this in your life where you're not going to feel panicked all the time. So just to do this, like, give yourself the time you need, pause it. The other way I'm going to read this is an inner journey. Maybe this is the time to look inward and maybe confront some shadow aspects. Maybe this is the time to go inward and do some journey work, to just basically examine why this happens every time you get, happiness in your hands. All of that's going to help you. What isn't going to help you is doing nothing, and what also isn't going to help you is freezing in place. So we have Isa, which is the rune of ice. It's stillness and standstill. It's just basically you're freezing at this point. It's like what I used to do, which was just to freeze in the face of calamity, or to just go catatonic in the face of calamity. And it's like that you feel like you can't do anything, and that if this feels like a calamitous situation for you because it's just too much at once that you don't know how to handle all at once, then you might be tempted to just like curl up and freeze really tight. So that's obviously not going to help. So what will help is, yes, pause. Don't pause and just freeze and be like contracted and just like not do any of this like wrapped around your swords. Just instead, you've already gotten your swords where they need to be, so you feel okay about them. That's been done in the last step. So now what needs to be done, suggest the runes, is to just pause the galloping forward and turn it inward and just sort of look inward and say, okay, part of my journey is going to be working out how I'm going to deal with this in a way that doesn't involve me panicking every time, and why. So, again, shadow work will help, journey work will help, look at dreams, anything, internal, even just looking at, past instances when this has happened, and like really taking a look at that and going, okay, I did this, why did I do this? And working that out, and what would have worked better for me. Your next step on the path line, we have Dagas, which is the rune of the breaking of the day. I do see you having a breakthrough with this. I don't see this as like suddenly everything bursting in on you all at once, but I kind of do. So I want another... Let me just get a couple more runes on this line to even it out. I don't think that made it any clearer for me, but maybe it did. So we have Dagas. It's the breaking of the day. It's full illumination. I think this is just basically things are going to become really clear for you, and then you'll be okay. Things will make sense for you, and then you're like, oh, okay. What's going to help you is learning your true nature. Definitely to learn your true nature in this thing, and that's what you've been doing with this. We have Hagalaz, which is the rune of the hailstorm. This is chaos and things that are out of your control, but it's also nature. It's weather, but it's nature. It's your true nature. It's the nature, the storm that you are, and this is definitely something shadow work will help with. But just becoming comfortable with that and becoming aware of that and sort of embracing that. Like, this is who I am. This is my nature. And so maybe there's still going to be some of this stuff that you're going to be doing, but it's still, you're going to be okay with that a little better. And that's going to lead you more to tuning out the din of everybody shouting at you, you should do this or you shouldn't do that. And just basically becoming comfortable with you, becoming comfortable with who you are. What isn't going to help is digging in and because of the fear of the unknown. When everything's become clear again, you may have this sense of like, no, this is not comfortable. This is not my comfort zone, and just digging in. We have Uruz the Wild Ox, strength and health and stubbornness, basically, in the lower line. So it's like, no, we're not going to move forward on this. We're going to keep frozen and just wrapped around our swords and not let anything go. And this is the fear of the unknown. It's like there's nothing, like, it's like, okay, like maybe there's things out there that you'd feel threatened by. There might not be, It's like, so it's just this. It's this the fear of the unknown. Bring yourself back up to, I now understand myself a lot better, my true nature, and this is going to help me be okay with myself in the world. And ultimately what this is going to lead you to is Berkana. Berkana is the rune of the birch tree. This has to do with beginnings and birth. This is you birthing a new you. You are going to emerge. You've already started emerging because of the clarity that you've suddenly had. But as you emerge, this is you coming out in a new way. This is you rebirthing yourself in the world in a way that is probably a lot more comfortable with yourself and in your own proverbial skin. So that's cool. So that, those of you who chose Seven of Swords, is your reading for sevens. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello to those of you who chose the Seven of Wands. Let's move the Seven of Wands over here. So the Seven of Wands is about feeling defensive about something. You know you're right. You know you're right. And you know that what you want to express in the world is right. And you know that your will is right. You know you're right. And you feel like you have to defend yourself about this. You may not, but you definitely feel like it. So let's get some runes down and get some clarity on the situation and the solution. Yes. Yes. You're like, I don't care what anybody else thinks. This is the thing that I am going to express in the world. Like it or lump it. Remember when we used to say that? Like it or lump it. Okay. Your central issue for this reading is Ansuz. Ansuz is the rune of communication and manifestation and expression. So you are in a situation where you have this thing that you are going to say or express or manifest or create in the world. And you absolutely believe in it, but you feel as though you have to defend it in the world. You feel like you have to explain it. You feel like you have to prove it. It's like, but it's just, but you know it's right. You know that you're right with it. You know that it's the right thing to do and the right thing to say, and that it has to be said. Leading up to this, we have Dagas, which is the rune of the breaking of the day. You've had an epiphany. You've had a moment of, the sunbeams through the clouds illuminating your entire field of vision. So it's absolutely the truth from the mouth of source. And so you are carrying this forward with your mouth, acting as the mouth of source, and you are expressing this in the world, and you're communicating this in the world, and you are manifesting it in the world, and you know it's right. But again, you do feel that it is going to be contested. You feel like it is being contested. You feel like you have to defend it. But this is the mountain this is the hill you're gonna die on. Is the sort of expression. So what is going to help you? We have Thurizaz reversed. Thurizaz is the rune of the challenge. It's the thorn, the giant, the gateway. When it's upright, it's an easy challenge. You just have to psych yourself up. When it's reversed, it's a hard challenge, because there's part of it that even you feel, even though you know it's right, and even though you know you're right, and you know that this is like the greatest truth, there's a sense where you are feeling, you once felt the way that you know that other people are feeling now, and that you understand why they are resisting this. And so there's that built-in resistance just from knowing what it was like not to know this truth, that you're up against. And it's basically embracing that fact, the challenge of it, because you know that what you're expressing is coming from a deeper truth. It's like source truth. I do want to get a couple more runes down on this line. Exactly. That, I know it looks like a backwards Z, but that's actually this particular rune set's version of Sovilo, which is the sun, which is source. So this is a source truth. So you know that you've got this absolutely right, and that this is a source truth. And even though you understand why the resistance is happening, or maybe isn't, but you understand if there is resistance, where it will be coming from. And that's sort of like even internal with you right now, that there's an internal resistor happening that you are defending against. And even if that's the only one you're defending against is that one inside you, it's still significant, and you still have to embrace that challenge as the impossible challenge that you have to deal with. What isn't going to help you is, I'm going to say, not trusting the divine. And I'm going to say wanting to run from that, basically. Sort of just doubting, like worries about what you consider the divine and where this has come from and source. And worries about letting spirit carry you in this case, because this is the truth. And this is an upright rune in a negative spot. Upright runes in a negative spot usually mean worries about that thing. This is the blank rune, new edition. I don't know if it's Blum's fault or not, but it's helpful. But it's basically that sense of, first of all, can I believe this? And second of all, it's like, this is new. This is completely new ground for me. And can I trust riding spirit with this? Can I trust spirit to carry me with this? So that's definitely worries that you're having, and it makes sense, especially given what you've been dealing with. Bring yourself back up if that starts to be the case too. It's like, okay, yes, maybe, but I'm embracing this challenge because I know I'm right, and I know this is right, and I know that this comes from whatever source is for me. So it's the truest truth that I have the honor of expressing. Your next step on the path line, and the center rune in the entire reading, which is pinning the reading, is Uruz reversed. Uruz is the rune of the wild ox. This has to do with strength and health and resistance. Reversed in the lower line, reversed in the center spot in the path line, I'm reading this as inner strength, resilience, and being able to allow for things. Like letting things pass by you, like letting things pass. It's not like you're being tumbled in this particular spot, but you're allowing things that aren't really necessary to fight against to just like pass by you. What is going to help you? We have Raidho reversed. Raidho is the rune of the journey. This is reversed on the upper lines. So there is a sense of, okay, two things. First of all, pause your journey forward while you sort this out. while you're gaining this sense of resilience and this sense of inner strength that you definitely already had, and while you are allowing yourself to learn where you can lift up your hooves and not resist things that are coming by you, like you don't have to pick a fight with every implement that comes at you, with every steampunk implement that comes at you. You don't have to pick a fight with those. Some of them are not worth fighting with, and some of them are not even directed at you, although you may feel so defensive that you're expecting them to be. So it's going to be a sense of learning, like turning it inward and just basically taking the journey inward for a little bit and going, okay, I am seeing, it's like that bit in Men in Black where they have the guy and they're showing him the different things. And he's like, why didn't you shoot that one? It's like, well, obviously he's just got a cold, So it's basically, you're turning it inward as you move forward and you're like really examining what's happening, and that you don't have to be defensive against everything. And it's like, this is how you're feeling. And this is where it's like, this is defense, this is defense, but this is reversed. So, and this also is why I'm calling in this as being an inner challenge as well. You may have something internally that you need to, that you may feel that you are defensive against, but you're learning that. So you're turning it inward and you're learning what battles to pick, basically. What isn't going to help you is we have Tivas reversed. This is interesting. I think don't neglect your duties, first of all. Like don't neglect your responsibilities during this. But it's kind of like a double negative, because it's like you're worried about putting your sword down. So don't worry about not fighting. Like don't not fight, but don't also not fight. It's kind of, I'm really seeing this as I'm really seeing this as worrying about putting your sword down, really, ultimately. I'm not going to make this any more complicated than it is. So you're worried about putting your sword down, but this is going to help you. Like you right now you feel like you have to defend against everything. Like your back is to the mountain and you're just basically, no, this is right and I speak with the will of the source. And I have to explain this to everybody because otherwise people will fight with me. And yet here I am fighting with everybody, even though nobody's fought with me yet. Or only a few people. Maybe there's some crabby old lady with a bubble wand yelling at you. But anyway, it's just like, don't worry about that. That's not going to help you. Like if you're feeling so defensive about that, just like bring yourself back up and like, what fights can I just let go? Because I am inwardly strong and I am resilient, and I don't really have as much to defend against as I thought. I think a lot of people maybe here are even going to agree with me. So maybe I don't have to fight as many things as I think I do. Your next step on the path line, we have Othala reversed. Othala is the rune of the home and the homeland. Reversed on the path line, it's the three things I usually bring out with this, which is A, stepping outside of your comfort zone, B, letting go of things that no longer serve you, and C, finding a sense of home within. You are outside of your comfort zone already, having taken up this quest. So this is something really new for you anyway. And so part of that is going to be letting go of what no longer serves you, which is basically this, the attitude that you're expecting to be fought against with, first of all, and which you've already sorted out in this step in here in the middle. So stepping outside of your comfort zone has been done. Letting go of things that no longer serve, I think you've already done that as well. And finding a sense of home within, where you are, where you don't feel like you have to be super, super, super defensive, that you are as you are, standing for what you need to stand for. What is helping you is exactly that. We have Algiz, which is the rune, Algiz reversed. Algiz, which is the rune of the elk, otherwise known as the moose, and it has to do with protection and support. Reversed on the upper line, it is inner protection, inner support. You're protecting yourself, you're supporting yourself, and you're standing up for yourself. And that's what you're doing. It's like, no, I am fine doing that. Your inner moose. What isn't going to help is we have Vunyo reversed. Vunyo is the rune of joy, reversed on the lower line. And I say, upright runes in the lower line have to do with worries about that thing. But these are worries about that thing, and they are reversals. You're worried about being unhappy, and this is understandable. I do want to get maybe a couple more runes on this line as well, just for that one, just for the, and you're incubating a new you. Because it's early steps in this new way of being, and you feel like maybe this is going to be a long haul, and that if I have to fight every step of the way, it's going to be a problem, and I'm feeling miserable, and blah, blah, blah. You're not really, are you? Because you're feeling very strong, and you know that you're incubating a new you. We have Berkana reversed, so that's in the upper line. We have inner birth, so we're incubating a new you that can stand up for itself, and this is like really exciting. So your outcome, we have Ingvaz, which is the rune of Ing. Ing is another name for Frey, and Frey is the fertility god. This has to do with active creation. You are basically stepping into you're creating for yourself a new environment in which to exist. You're using what you have to control what you can, to shape what you can around you, and create around you a new like scaffolding and lattice work of just this, the bringing through actively the new into the world that hasn't been there before. It's like this is when you finally are comfortable enough with what you've encountered from source and this breakthrough you've had to really work with it. This is you communicating it, but you're still sort of fighting with yourself and with whether or not these are imaginary with that. And then you're like, okay, we're going to build that resilience. We're going to build that inner resistance thing. We're going to build that inner strength. And then you're able to let go of what no longer serves and step into this new home that you can carry with you. And from there, you then begin to build. So that, those of you who chose the Seven of Wands, is your reading for sevens. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello to those of you who chose the Seven of Cups. I'm going to move this over here. Seven of Cups is about sort of pausing to review your options. Basically, it's like all these hopes and dreams and thoughts and plans, and it's like all these things, and you could get mesmerized by this, and you could just stay here for the rest of all time and never move forward on any of them. Just like, but then this, but then this, and I sure would like an airship, and this snake is pretty, and wow, a dragon, So it's just you just sit there and the danger of this. I mean, even though it's wonderful to do, and I definitely encourage doing this frequently, but don't get stuck in it and just not ever move forward. And that's what the danger is with this. So let's get some runes down and clarify what this particular Seven of Swords is about. So much. You've got so much to choose from, and it's like, how do I even choose? I don't blame you. But I would totally choose the dragon. That's just me, though. That dragon's coming home with me. Or the castle. Uh-oh. Now I have a conundrum. I don't know that I would be able to choose immediately between the dragon and the castle. Maybe I'll get the dragon, and the dragon can take me to the castle. Okay. Your central issue, those of you who chose the Seven of Swords, is Daggaz. Daggaz is the rune of the breaking of the day. Definitely, given this card, I'm saying it has to do with overwhelm. It's a lot of brilliance. Your entire field of vision is illuminated, and it's so much all at once. And it's you just, everything is gorgeous, and you really just want to just look at everything, and you can't decide because it's all just wonderful and exciting. I know some Seven of Swords have things that are not wonderful and exciting, but I think this one has like things that are wonderful and exciting. And because he's enticed by all of them, or she, or whoever. Leading up to this, we have Ingvaz. Ingvaz is another name for Ing. Ingvaz is Ing's rune. Ing is another name for Frey, and Frey is the fertility god. This is the rune of active creation. So you've actually, I think, either you have brought yourself to this point very carefully by careful work and bringing yourself there, or you have put all of these, you've gotten all of these to this point. It's almost like maybe these are stories that you have written the beginnings of, and now you have 7 stories that you want to work on all of them at once, and you have to choose one at a time to work on. Because it might be very awkward to write a word on each and then perpetually do that, although that would be a fun challenge, I think, for an afternoon. So yeah, I think it's similar to that kind of thing, because this would imply that you had a hand in the creation of this, even if the hand that you had was in the curation of this. So either the creation or the curation, the obtaining and getting things in place, and then now you're in a situation where you're overwhelmed. You're like, I can't decide what to work with, and it's all wonderful. What is going to help you is really reach deep and let your joy guide you. But this is your deepest inner joy. We have Vunyo reversed in the upper line. So Vunyo is the rune of joy. Reversed in the upper line is inner. So we're going to go really, really deep. One of these, more than the others, is going to, as Kondo says, spark joy, but deep. You're going to feel that resonance. It's like, Cantus Fraggle saying, it's like that you got to feel that ping. And not just an imagined ping and not just an overlaid ping, but a ping. And you're going to feel that. One of these is going to give you that more in particular than the others. And you can do like elimination. It's like, okay, I think I've got a ping from the dragon and the castle, so let's move the rest of them. And then you sort of feel for the depth of the ping. But that's what's going to help you, is just basically eliminated by, what is giving you that deep inner joy. What isn't going to help is you may feel obligated to some of these, and they won't be your highest joy yet. It will be something that you feel like you should do. So maybe you will feel like, you look at these and it's like the dragon is like resonating for you and the castle is like just vibrating for you. But then you look at the airship and it's like, well, I should do the airship. But that's not going to help you, because you're going to do it and then you're not going to be able to stop thinking about the dragon or the castle. You're going to feel like you've regretted it. You're going to feel obligated by it, and you're not going to feel like your heart's in it. Definitely, in this case, and I know how tempting that is, because you want people to say, "Oh, wow, you made the right choice, and you're an adult," and blah blah blah. Yeah, but okay, but one of the other things about being an adult, besides being responsible, is you get to do things and nobody can tell you not to. Like if it's hot and it's like hot and you feel like having ice cream before dinner, do that. Nobody's going to stop you. Your parent is not going to jump out of the wall and say, no, you can't have ice cream before dinner. What's wrong with you? It's like, nope, I'm the adult and I am going to have ice cream for dinner. And then I'll probably have something nice afterwards, like fruit, but like maybe some salad. But yeah, basically that's the thing, is like, okay, yes, it's, you have your responsibilities, you have your obligations, but this is something that is just all wonders and something that is really heart connected, because it's cups. You want to choose based on your inner joy and your inner ping. Your next step on the path line, and what is pinning the entire reading, the center rune of the entire reading, is Yira. Yira is the rune of the harvest and also time. This is where you're going to bring things through. This is where you're going to focus on the present moment. And I think if you're going to make a decision at all, you're going to make it at this point. And it's going to be like this present moment where you're going to just like grab the thing. And it's going to be like, you're going to get the vibrations going up your arm, and there's going to be lightning, and it's going to be beautiful. So it's like, this is the thing. And what's going to help you at that point is don't fight it. But also see this as something that is taking care of something for you personally. This is your duty to yourself. This is your responsibility to yourself. And this is basically... So, Tivaz. Tivaz is Tyr's rune. Tyr's the warrior god, and it has to do with taking care of duties and responsibilities. Reversed on the upper line, it's duties and responsibilities to yourself, but it's also not fighting this. As and from the warrior god aspect of like putting your sword down, it's like, I am not resisting this. This is my choice. We're going to go with this. We're going to have this beautiful time together, and we're going to focus on the present moment and bring through the miracles into the world. We're going to bring through this harvest into the world. What isn't going to help is, once you've done this, is I'm actually going to throw down a couple more runes, because I think because it's something new that you haven't done yet, it's this sudden moment of stage fright, and it's this blankness. Yes, bringing things into the world. That's what I was saying. So, law. It's this blankness, and then it freezes you. It's like it's stage fright. So you don't have a map for this, but it's so exciting. But you grab it and it's like, oh my gosh, now what? And then it's like you freeze, and then you feel like, I don't know what to do with this. I have a dragon in my hands, and it's this big challenge, and it's like this Thornwall challenge where you feel like it's going to be too hard for me. It's going to be impossible. Okay, that's just stage fright. You might be tempted about it, but it's like, but just bring yourself back up to, first of all, you've used joy to make this choice. You have it in your hands. It's very exciting. Don't fight it. Okay, this is you fighting it. Don't fight it. And what this is going to bring you to is you in this moment have stepped into your place in the great song. Your part in humanity is that you have made this choice, and this is your part of the story, and this is critical and wonderful and exciting, and your note in the song that you are now singing just by living it. Your next step on the path line, we have Laguz, which is the rune of the water. This is emotion, intuition, heart, and flow. Let this flow forward in a very wonderful, heart-based, organic way from the moment you grab the thing. There is going to be that thing. It's like when you, okay, I'm going to use writing again as an example. When you start writing a thing, just go. Just write it. Don't look back. The first maybe two or three chapters, just write them, because this is the joy that is carrying you. You can fix them later. Just let it carry you forward so that you get into the flow of it. And your heart is in this, and it's just, let it be a celebration. What is going to help you with that is stick to it. We have... anyway, so heart-based, emotion-based, intuition-based, all of that. Just let it flow forward once you start with this. And definitely stick to it. So that's what's going to help you the most. We have Uruz, which is the rune of the wild ox. This is strength and health and stubbornness in terms of like sticking to it. Just facing into it and just not being movable. It's a wild ox, so it's like sitting there with its hooves dug in, and you can't push this ox. This ox is just going to stand there, and so just stick to it. Just do this. Let yourself do this. Don't let anybody push you from doing this. What you may be worried about and what may drag you down at that point is we have Pertho reversed. Pertho's the rune of the wild. Pertho's not the rune of the wild ox. I have to stop looking at one rune while I'm talking about the other. Pertho's the rune of the lot box. Well, there's an ox in it. Pertho's the rune of the lot box. This has to do with surprises and fate. It's reversed on the lower line, so you are worried about an unpleasant surprise. As you move forward with this, you're worried about something that might pop up that you didn't realize when you were looking at these in the cups. So you're just basically, I see this really as more of a worry, but even if it does happen, whether it happens or whether you're just worried about it happening, an unpleasant surprise as you move forward with this thing, and of course with Pertho, the unpleasant surprise is something that was always there, so it's part of it, if it happens. If that starts to worry you, or if you actually hit something that you didn't expect, that you're not super comfortable with, bring yourself back to this. Uruz, wild ox, you are inherently strong, first of all. And second of all, you're sticking to this. You're letting this first step, after making that decision, be the flow of it. So let it flow for the first little while, and just let your heart and your emotions and your intuition guide you. And as you flow forward, and just let this be very organic, and remind yourself how strong you are, and just stick to it for the first little thing. Then, your outcome rune, the final rune in this spread, is Vaida, which is the rune of the journey. At this point, you're going to make a conscious, very yang decision of how you're going to move forward. But you had to do this flow part first. Maybe you're going to make a decision that you're going to put it back on the shelf. I don't know. It doesn't say that. It says you're just continuing forward. So you're probably going to continue forward with this thing because it's wonderful and you love it. Even if it has something in it that you're not super comfortable with, which you might edit out later. But right now, you're letting it happen. Let it go as it will. It's cups, so it's probably something either creative or love related. If it's something, obviously, I'm not advocating staying where there is abuse. Please do not do that. I would never say that. And of course, all of this is entertainment purposes only. La la la. But anyway, I'm seeing this more as something that is. Trying to think of a thing. Oh, here's a silly one. So let's say you choose the dragon, and maybe this is representative of a love thing. And it turns out that the person really, really loves broccoli, and you don't love broccoli, and that surprised you because you didn't want to have broccoli in your life. But flow with it. Like, you don't have to eat the broccoli. I don't think they're going to make you eat the broccoli. They're just going to enjoy the broccoli on their own, and then you don't have to deal with it. So, but it's just like something is like, oh, oops, I didn't know that was happening, and I don't know how I feel about that. But it's not something. I don't think this is something that is going to really hurt anything, because look at this line. Got yourself to this point. Now you're overwhelmed with all the good. I'm really seeing this more like as creative type stuff as well, though, than love, but there might be love involved. There's a heart. And of course there's love involved, of course, because you love all of it. But then you have, you take the thing, you're in the present moment, start the thing, abundance, and then you flow with it, and now you're just continuing forward with the journey. It looks good. Like, it looks really good. So I am happy for you. I wish you, so there it is. That's your reading for sevens. I wish you, as always, all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye.